I actually, by the way, y'all, I get this crap from my grandpa. I get this crap from my grandpa because, okay, so I'm going to tell you another childhood story. My grandfather was a very cranky old man, right? I think he was 50 when he had my uncle. When they had my uncle, he was like already 50. Grandma, I think, was 42. So they struggled having children. But he didn't relate well to any of the men in the family whatsoever. But he loved my mom. Like, mom was a mom. She was a daddy's girl, right? And he loved me. Really, he was really, really tight with my mom, and he was really tight with me. And the rest of the members of the family, he did not. He was just like cranky and shit. But he used to sit me on his lap and tell me stories all the time. And he would smoke a pipe. And so that Prince Albert tobacco, it smells kind of like vanilla. Actually, like my sister-in-law, when we went over for Mother's Day, she had a candle. And she's like, can you tell what smell it is? Can you tell what the scent is? And I'm like, it smells like vanilla. She said it's pipe tobacco. The scent was pipe tobacco. It smelled like Prince Albert. It smelled like what he used to smoke in his pipe. And that's probably why I'm the smoker in the family, right? Nobody else, well, I think my son picked it up later too, but nobody else in the family smokes except for me. And it's because I used to sit on my grandpa's lap all the time and listen to him tell me stories of his youth. So I was telling this story the other day. I think I told this story to Wade because I had a lot of phone calls this week, you guys. I had a lot of phone calls this week. So one of the first jobs I had, like on the books. I'm not talking about like when I was a paper girl. When I was in the 5th grade, I was a paper girl. My mom can tell you all about that. She used to drive me around. I threw the papers out of the back of her Toyota Tercel. And I used to have to walk around the neighborhood every month and collect $1.25 from the subscribers. That was when I was a little kid. That was my actual first job. And babysitting. I did fairly decent too. I got like $5 an hour as a babysitter, y'all. But I was only like 5th, 6th grade when I was doing that shit. I was actually watching like babies. It was like in the 5th or 6th grade. But I got $5 an hour. So those were my earliest jobs. But my actual first job was receptionist at a hair salon, but it was under the table. That I didn't stay there very long. I did not stay there very long. I did fine, but they thought I was like too punk for them, so they cut me like after a month. But my first on the books job was I worked for a movie theater. And it was like the most low rent movie theater in town. we got the movies that they were not putting out in like mass release. So we got like colors, and we got what was that? I can't even. I had the same problem when I was. I think it was Wade that I was talking to about this. I still can't remember the name of that damn film. It was like a DJ contest. It was like some sort of DJ contest. And in the middle of the DJ contest, they go to like do a heist, like to rip off like a 7-Eleven or something, like in the middle of it. We had those movies. This was El Toro Road. We were the 1, 2, 3. The 1, 2, 3. And when we got hot movies like that were only being shown in like one location, it was, very limited release. And what would end up happening is, like one night we had riots. We had fucking riots, you guys. Fucking riots happened. And it was not a well-constructed building. Like, the manager who actually hired me built the box office. He fucking built that box office because they used to have the box office actually used to be like 20 feet in front of the building. It was like one of those singular box office, and you would go up to the box office like 20 feet in front of the building and buy your tickets and then go into the building. But he realized that wasn't very safe, so he actually fucking constructed the box office that existed, and it was just like He's fucking made it out of lumber, right? It's like this box office. I started in concessions, but I got promoted to box office. I made $4.50 an hour. Woohoo! I got a 25% raise. So I'm in the box office, and I can't remember if it was when we were playing Colors or if it was when we were playing that DJ movie, which I can't remember the name of. It was hot. It was like August, right? We had side doors and we had front doors, and we had them all open because the air conditioning didn't work very well. Not in the concession area. Like, it worked well in the theaters, but it did not work well in the concession area. So we had all the doors open. So a couple of criminals like scoped us out, realizing that they could come in through the side, that I was in the box office, and I'm, this little chick, 16 years old, and that it's a poorly constructed box office, and that they could reach in the drawer and steal all the money and probably, get away with it, right? So this is what happened. I went on break. And this is actually why it came up. We were talking about video games, and I was talking about how the only video games I liked to play were the drive games. Like you're a driver, I was like number one on that fucking video game, by the way. This was in our lobby, and I used to play it on my breaks all the time. I'd go and I'd play this video game. And I had like the number one pole position on it because I was really good at this video game. But as I go on break. They think I'm going to be in the box office. But the person who was in the box office was my manager, assistant manager. This is my friend Mike. We're still friends. I haven't talked to him in a long ass time, but he is still a family friend. Mike is a very skinny, lanky gay dude. This is so funny, actually, that this happened. So they fucking try and rob him, thinking that they're going to encounter me. They think they're going to encounter me, but they encounter Mike. And he starts, like, hitting the guy on his back and kicking him and just kind of slap fighting him. Maybe I was telling this to Robert. I might have been telling Robert. I can't remember if I was telling Wade or Robert this story. So he's slapping him. He's slapping him and kicking him and stuff. And he actually took the guy's hand and shoved the drawer all the way the fuck in. So he traps the guy's hand in the fucking drawer. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening? So I walk away from the arcade game. And at the time, I was also dating this is the only time I've ever done this. I was dating a coworker who was a fairly strong black dude. And it's like, we are slowly catching, because he was actually standing, watching me over my shoulder, watching my progress on this video game, right? So we walk up, we're like, what the fuck is all that commotion going on over there? So we walk over there. We see Mike slapping the shit out of this guy, kicking and slapping him. And the dude turned around to try and escape, and Nathan fucking clocked him. It's like, punched him square in the face. Dude looked dazed and confused. You could practically like see the birds and stars floating over his head. And then he ran out of the building. We called 911. The police came and admonished us. They told us, don't ever fight ever again. Don't fight, because they could have a lawsuit against you if you fight them off. Just let them take the money and go. That was when I was 16, y'all. They tried to rob me. They thought I was going to be in the box office. Thank you, Mike, for taking the heat. And thank you, Nathan, for clocking that fucker. I also worked at that movie theater when the LA riots happened. And I brought like a small black and white TV to the movie theater so they could see what was happening. Because we're like family. We're tight. I brought a fucking television down there so they could actually watch the riots while they're happening, because we're like, what the fuck even? We're far from LA. We're about an hour south of LA, y'all.